Just how I wanna live. Just how I wanna live. How I wanna live. Just how I wanna live. How I wanna live. Just how I wanna live. How I wanna live.
Hi everyone, this is another episode of Young, Black,
and Widowed.
I'm Chanel.
I'm Angelo.
And I'm Shaw.
And we're here today just to talk to you about one of our topics of the day. We're looking at how we are definitely booked and busy. If this is your first episode with us, thank you. Welcome. We just want to kind of come in today, and this episode or all of our podcasts are in regards to our journey as young widows here. So we just wanted to kind of go from there with booked and busy. Are you guys booked and busy?
Man, yeah. What you talking about?
Yeah.
All the time. Like, booked and busy, man. I just feel like I always got stuff going on, and there's like different stuff with work and just like life in general, you know. So we were kind of talking about how, like, when everything first happened, like when our spouses passed, like just being booked, and I didn't want to just sit at the house. Like, I felt like I had to create stuff to be busy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people just wanted to hang out or extra stuff that I was staying at work later than I was supposed to and that kind of stuff. So it was just like, I guess it's as a coping mechanism to just not be really dealing with whatever's going on. Right. You know? And that happens now too. Like, stuff happened in life or whatever, and it's like, I don't really want to deal with that. So I'm going to like engross myself in work and engross myself in other stuff. And just being busy all the time and feel like I just can't just sit still. Like, I need to just do something to get my mind off of it. You know what I'm saying? So
definitely.
that's how, like, I know that's what I do a lot of the time. Just like when things come up. And then I think for me, I was just always willing to just do whatever. So like, if it was like a poetry thing and people like, hey, I want you to come here to the show and perform, I'm like, okay, cool, I just do it. And I probably should just sit myself home. You know what I mean? Right. Like, instead of just being willing to do extra stuff. Like, I just need to really just to chill, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
Especially you think about like times around like anniversaries or holidays and things like that. You definitely want to try to just kind of keep yourself busy so you don't sit and really reminisce or think about, the past and things that happened before. It's like, even, I guess even sometimes maybe it's trying to get your mind off that particular anniversary or that particular occasion, and you just kind of want to, I guess, isolate you or separate yourself from it. I remember, like, even now, like, even with like family functions, and going to things like that, it can kind of take you back. It's like, okay, there's a missing piece to the puzzle here. Like, everybody's here, especially when you got like the in-laws involved and stuff like that. It's like, okay, something's missing. But over the years, I found that it gets better. But again, while everything is going on, you still try to keep yourself going, even if you're at a family's house or doing some kind of family event or some kind of event. You never want to just sit down and have that time to really think about what's going on. You just kind of want to be doing this and doing that and on to the next thing. And then, by the time you get home, you just want to really just get in bed.
Right, yeah.
And go to sleep.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? You kind of want to just wear yourself out to the point of where I get in this bed, I'm going to pass out, I'm asleep, and then the next day, you kind of recap on it, but like, it's just different.
Yeah.
When it's all over, it's the feeling, it doesn't hurt as much.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And it's funny that you talk about the years that have gone by versus, so the then and now is how I look at this with the booked and busy.
Right.
So when we're talking about trying to stay busy, I think the biggest thing or that we can all put out there is that we're in fear of being silent, like things being silent around us. Things, the time that's allotted for us to just sit down and think and, actually sit in what we've gone through. Yeah. And that can be scary in itself, especially when you think about, how long it took you to get to where we are now. Yeah. I'm almost 4 years into my journey, and you both are about 2 years into your journey. And so with saying that, it's just crazy to see where we were in the beginning versus how we are now and how that changes. So I think that's a big thing that we're trying to relate to in this video for other people that might have felt the same way. Yeah. But that fear of silence really gets to you when you just want to stay busy. Every time somebody asks you to do something, you're trying to do it. not answer, not asking or questioning anything. You're just like, yep, I'm on it, I'll be there. But in reality, people don't understand that you're really doing it because you're just trying to like not be at home and thinking about what you had, what you're missing. But sometimes that can be a double-edged sword because I know, like for me, one of the first family trips that we took, we invited some friends to go with us, and they were a married couple. And you know, we're thinking we're booked and busy and going to Disney World. But what I realized is that I put my daughter in a situation that became uncomfortable, not because of them, but because of what we had already experienced. And so, you know, even with things like that, now that we've been in this thing for a little while, it's easier for me to kind of think about that beforehand because it's miserable seeing people with their families, or it was back then. Sometimes it, you know, it can be that way now, but you know, whenever with the years that have passed and us growing and doing our own thing, you know, it's changed. But in the beginning, that was really hard to see people with, you know, my daughter, she cried her first day of school seeing somebody with their dad. So yeah, those types of things, and in fear of being silent and trying to say, you know, always, yeah, sure, we'll be there. Yeah, I'll go. Well, I'm going to dinner with a couple that's married. That's not doing me any good. At least it didn't then.
I had to go to a friend's wedding after the fact. And that is rough. You know what I'm saying? Then they threw out a song that was like in my wedding, and I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, wedding was definitely hard, and it's like it's like you have a battle with yourself because you're there and you're holding back all these emotions and you want to seem happy because it's not like you're not happy. It's just that again, it just reminds you of where you were. Like I was just talking to somebody, one of my wife's good friends. Actually, I was talking to her the other day and just telling her like, now that whole life that I had is like, it's like a fairy tale. Because people that don't know me, I tell them, you know, I was once married and had this whole family, and it's like I have to show them, I have to show it to them for them to believe it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I once had all this, and it's like, wow, you know, just thinking about it like that, like it's a story that I have to tell now. This life that I once lived, and this great woman that was once my wife. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you know, and that silence is just so. That silence it can be your worst enemy. And in that silence, I went to some very dark places and had some conversations with some dark entities, you know. But I put myself in that silence. I don't know about you guys, but like I remember when everything happened, being my wife died unexpectedly. I just wanted a lot of answers. I just couldn't. I just couldn't settle with the information that I had, and I just wanted more answers. I wanted to talk to her more. Like I would literally go in the house, you know, alone, cut off all the lights, and like feel like I was trying to summon her up, but like I was, you know, really bringing in other stuff, and I was having these conversations like, you know, what would you do to get her back? Who would you trade to get her back? And it's like, I'm glad that I still was in enough, you know, had enough sense or was conscious enough to not answer those questions, because I had to tell myself like it doesn't matter, like she's not coming back. But putting that energy out there could have caused me more heartache by putting answers to those questions, you know, because you know, a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, all the time, you know, the energy that we put out, the words that we speak, the thoughts that we have, it can manifest, you know, based on how much we put toward it. And it's like, if I had answered those questions, then I could have been subconsciously thinking about that happening to change what was already going on or bringing her back. Like the person I would sacrifice, well, you know, I would be willing to give up this if I could have her back, or give up this person. And then you're thinking about that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it made me think about people that have mental issues. That may be why they go and do stuff to other people, because they talking to these voices and then, you know, coming up with these answers and trying to make things manifest. But to get back to what we're talking about and just the fear of silence, is like, you don't want to, that quiet time just can take you to a lot of different places. It can really be damaging. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times when you go through like losing someone or losing, you know, in our case, losing a spouse, you kind of want to shut yourself up sometimes, and you know, not want to just deal with anything.
Yeah.
But you know, and you just want to cry and all that stuff is good in a sense, but like it can definitely be detrimental to you.
For sure. Yeah.
And I was just thinking about, you know, just those different moments, like with that going on. It was just real rough. And a lot of times, you know, it's just good to let people in sometimes, because you can find yourself in a very, very bad place, mentally and emotionally.
And I think that's one of those things too, where that shows how grief is different on everyone. Right. Because I know for me, I didn't want to be alone. I feared the time that I would be alone, and I feared him coming to visit or dream, you know, me dreaming, and it was because I'm just scary in general. Right. So, you know, like I feared all that. I wanted him close to me. I wanted to feel him, and I knew he was around just by, you know, his energy was there. But at the same time, I didn't want to be alone. I remembered like staying up so long. First of all, I wouldn't sleep in my room at all. Like I would not sleep in my bed. I stayed downstairs for the longest time, and ended up lying so bad on the couch that I ended up getting sciatic nerve because of it, because my back had started to conform to the couch because I would not sleep in my bed. And so that was causing physical issues to the point where I couldn't walk for a little bit. Like I had to literally go to a chiropractor and get treated for it. But it was between not sleeping in my bed, and then even when I would lay on the couch, I'd just stay awake, like eyes open, to the point to where one night I got what do you call the thing where you're falling asleep and you don't want to fall asleep, but then you can't move at all. I can't. We used to always say the devil be on your back. Yeah, well, something was on my back, and it's the devil on your back, girl.
The Sandman. The things we come up with for stuff is crazy. Yeah, but I'm with you though.
Yeah, it was just it's something else that they call it too. But I just remember one night, like I was so tired and I would not go to sleep, and then all of a sudden I started dozing off, and my friend was there, and I couldn't call. I couldn't reach for him. I couldn't do anything. It was my husband's best friend, and I just remember like I couldn't do anything, and I was just stuck. And then after that, I was like, man, I better start taking this sleeping medicine. Like it's okay. Like I really need to take some melatonin and go to sleep, because I realized that my body couldn't keep doing that.
Yeah, that's crazy. You were mentioning the whole wedding thing. So I went to fraternity brother's wedding like 2 weeks, I think it was, like after she passed. And my mom and them was at the house, and they were like, "You sure you want to go to this wedding, you know, or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, I think I probably need to get out of here. Like y'all being here is cool, but it was weird because like I was appreciative for them being there, but also kind of didn't want them there at the same time. It was kind of weird. So I'm like, yeah, I need to kind of get out and, you know, and go and support my people or whatever. So I went there. I was cool until, so the wedding part, I was cool. You know, I felt a little something, but I was straight. And then when you had to go like out of the room that the wedding was in, go into the cocktail reception area, then go back to where they're going to have the reception at. And then, so they asked me, because I'd already RSVP'd. So me and Jazz RSVP'd together, right, for 2. So they were like, is it just you? You know, said Pojita or whatever. And they was like, just you? I'm like, yeah, it's just me. I'm like, this is not going to be good. As soon as I said that, like, this is not going to be a good night. But I was, you know, trying to work through it. And then reception was cool. Honestly, I was straight. I was happy for them. And then it was like at the end of it when, you know, the dancing happens and all that stuff like that. And people throwing the garter and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I'm like, I'm not moving, you know, clearly. And then I remember I got to the dance floor. I'm like, dang, I don't got nobody. Where's my dance partner at? You know, I remember feeling like that very visibly, like, dang. And so when I left there, like, I just sat in the car and just like cried for like a minute. Like, I think a good 30 minutes, I swear I was in the car just kind of like that. And it's like, man, like this is a great idea, but a terrible idea at the same time. Right. To come here, you know what I mean? Because it did get me out the house, but also now look what it's done too, you know? Yeah. So it's kind of crazy how you do things to put yourself in a different space, but it may still take you back, you know, to where you didn't want to go in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
And on that note, like just staying thinking about being booked and busy. You got others that try to use alcohol and drugs and different things like that, unhealthy things to kind of keep your mind off, and we definitely discourage that because like I said, you can find yourself in an addiction and in a very bad health situation. You can find yourself harming yourself and other people. Sure. I knew when I wouldn't even touch alcohol at all. It was a long time before I would even take a sip of alcohol because I was just fearful of it becoming a vice. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt like I had control over it, but like I really wanted to escape reality though. Right. I really wanted to, and I didn't want to take the chance of feeling like I did a little bit. And usually a lot of people that have those type of addictions, a lot of times it's because they feel like they are escaping reality, and when they come down off that high, they go back and do it again. Right, you know what I'm saying? Sure. So they can just stay in that state. Their way of not having to deal with what's going on in their lives, and it's like adding that to the silence and things like that really can take things to another notch and be very dangerous. And one thing that I see, like, and it may be, I just know what I see in the black community just growing up, when we have people die, first thing we want to do is drink. You know what I'm saying? Let's go drink. Right. Pour somebody, pour a little something for like we drink and get high to celebrate birthdays. We drink and get high when somebody dies. Like everything, and it's like that was like when she passed. That was one of the things that I definitely did not want to fall into, and it's hard, and maybe we can provide some different stuff, healthy ways of dealing with grief, so you don't have to kind of sit there and kind of suffer in the silence, or you just sitting there and just feeling like you're falling apart because you don't have anything to do to try to help you make it through. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And like I always say, it doesn't necessarily get it does get better, but it just I say it just gets more manageable.
It's not always easy. For sure.
You're able to manage the pain, better. You know what I'm saying? But I can't sit here and say there's gonna be times where you're not gonna cry no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I think I done made it. You know what I'm saying? And got past that, and then I might break down. Like, it just happened. You know what I'm saying? It hits you, but it is good to it feels good to just let it out though. Like that I understood. Like, it feels good to just, if it's coming, just go ahead and let it come. If you try to hold it, it's like you're really hurting yourself. Just go ahead and let your emotions, and just if you gotta cry, just let it go. You know what I'm saying?
I think that it's taken us some time to get to that point because I don't think a lot of people understand when you become a widow, you get things are added to you. For one, you become in a household where it was two people and now it's one person, and so your household alone, your financial status, your social status, all that stuff is extremely overwhelmed. But we have this thing called widow brain, where you don't know your left from your right. You're confused about certain things. You're making decisions and you doing behaviors that other people are like, "What is going on?" Right. But you're thinking that you're fine. Right. And so, like you said, I think that was another issue with the whole trying not to sit in silence. Like, you're trying to stay doing stuff, stay saying, yes to everyone. Stay trying to fulfill everyone else's happiness because you can't, yours isn't there right now. Right. I know for me, being a mom, one of the biggest things for me, I will always say is, I have my daughter. I would hope that God will bring me someone to love again, or someone to love me. And I know it's no comparison, but at the same time, my daughter will never have a father again. It won't be the same, like her blood actual father when they had a great relationship. But even in that overwhelming feeling, it comes to trying to overcompensate for what she's missing.
Right, for sure.
And I did that in behaviors with people just in general. Every time somebody needed me, I was there for them. I was doing everything for everyone. But in that, what I realized is that what are people doing for me right now? And so that brings about another thing that we were talking about is just how, people, where you start getting into trying to help other people and doing everything and getting real busy, but then it's like, who's that person that's coming to you to say, what do you need right now? Can I help you do this so that you're not so overwhelmed? Because you put on that facade and that face that everything's fine. I'm back to normal. When inside you're broken, like you have a lot going on. Yeah.
And you mentioned the widow brain thing. Like I remember when I first found out what that was. I think it was in the group that we're in on Facebook. So there's a widow group. I'm not gonna tell you the name of it because y'all not gonna be looking this up. But but no, I'm just kidding. But there's a group for widows and stuff on Facebook, and we're all members of it. And I think someone was in there talking about widow brain, and so I was like, oh, what is that? And then I realized like, oh, I have this like big time because I'm talking to people and it's not making sense, but I think it's normal. Like I think I'm doing my normal routine and it's just not clicking, And I remember one day I was talking to one of my coworkers and saying something. I don't remember what I was saying, and then he just looked at me like, "What are you talking about?" And then I was like, "That didn't make no sense, did it?" He's like, "Nah, it didn't make any sense whatsoever." I'm like, "Okay, I get it now." Like that was the moment. It was just like, wow, okay, I've been really on autopilot, like this operating of what I think I'm supposed to be doing and saying, and we're not really consciously. It's not clicking all together, like. Even like down to when you're trying to cook something and you're trying to make something at home. I don't have all the ingredients, but I'm still trying to do it. Like I'm trying to make a sandwich with no bread, or like stuff like that. Yeah. It's like this doesn't make any sense, like how I'm doing it at all. And then when you get in that widow brain mode, I know like, especially as time goes on and it's like months have gone by, whatever. Then it's kind of like the opposite of the booked and busy, where before you were trying to keep yourself busy, but now you can't really do it as much.
Right.
But now everybody else is busy. Right.
Yeah.
So now you're trying to like find these people that you can have like in your pocket to really share those things with. All right, now I'm cool and now I'm done trying to be busy. Yeah. And I need to talk to you now, but you're not even around to talk to me.
Man. Especially like the couple stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't live that married life, and you used to doing things with couples and stuff like that. Then boom, you back out there. You know what I'm saying? And like. It's still even there's things for married couples and things for couples that's dating. It's like it just throws you all the way back. What you were saying about the another thing, did you guys like not eat? Like was like just moving around real. Like not eating. Like I wasn't eating, wasn't drinking, but I was just up.
Right.
Just doing every day, all day. Yeah. Just going and doing this and that and just out everywhere, not eating, not drinking. Just not really wanting to, just really trying to get to each day. Like the task was to get up in the morning and keep my mind busy, like I said, until I go to sleep. Right. And then do it all over again. Like I dreaded nighttime. Like I said, I slept on the couch too for about almost 3 months. Yeah. And I just realized I had sciatic nerve issues now. I didn't think about that. Yeah. Wow. After that, I had to go to the doctor and all that stuff because I could barely walk. Yeah. But I slept on the couch for almost 3 months. Just because my wife passed in the bedroom. Everything happened in the bedroom, so I didn't want to go in. It wasn't fear. It's just I got tired of reliving everything. Like when I stepped in a room. It was like somebody pressed play on, a VCR or DVD or whatever, and it just started replaying everything. Where she was at here, where was that there, and then all that just would replay over and over again. So I just like I couldn't go in the room for a while. Yeah. And when I finally went in there, it was just, laying there and just crying. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. Laying in the bed, just crying and talking like. Man, because it's like it's unbelievable. Like, how did I end up here? And it's like every morning you wake up, it's like, dang, it's real. This is not a dream. Right? This really happened, and then you have to go through the whole day again of in my situation, fighting to survive, fighting to be strong for my daughter and not show that weakness to her. fighting to make everybody else think that I was okay.
Right. Yeah.
And and then by the time I went to work, you have to fight to just put on that mask every day that you're okay, because you got to go to this job, and you're not really allowed to show those emotions and things like that, depending on where you're working. And of course, me, being in corporate America and a black man in corporate America is just, I'm already have to be a certain way. So now I got to go and be cool, and dealing with people that don't know what happened, and talking about your wife and stuff like that, because I still wore my ring for a long time. So people would say stuff, and then it's like, I gotta tell the story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Kind of dreaded that.
That's the S on your chest already.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I know, kind of going back a little bit, I didn't sleep in a bed for at least a month and a half, almost 2 months. I don't remember the like back issues or anything like that, but I definitely was just like I just couldn't do it. I even hated going in the room because, but I had to because my clothes were, and so I remember I did take some clothes. So like we had a guest bedroom, so sometimes I'd be in there. But man, that was just such a daunting thing.
Yeah.
I remember even the first time I tried to sleep in there, it's like, nah, this is not working. Like, I could, it's just, it's like a out of body experience, like something that's just not allowing you to relax and unwind. You know what I mean? And so I guess it's just because you associate that with your spouse. So it's like, now that they're not there, how can you really be stable in a place that you once were comfortable in?
Yeah.
So.
And I don't know if that's one of those things, even like grief, even if you're living in it, you learn to manage with it. But then the question comes, will the house ever be a home for you again? Like, do you feel like maneuvering in those particular spaces, will get better over time? I know, going in the beginning for me, I didn't want anything to change for my daughter. I felt like she had gone through enough, and I feel like we needed stability. She knew that this was the home that her dad and I had built before she turned 1, and that this is where we had planned on raising her for a little bit, for a little bit of time. So leaving her there, I felt like was the best choice I could make as a parent. And then I kept hearing with widow brain, you shouldn't decide to make any future big decisions right offhand, like buying a new place and things of that nature. But coming in now 4 years in, I realize more and more that as I'm starting over and as I'm starting to build my new chapter, that home is there for now, but it's just a place for me to go. I don't think that this is where I want to be for a long amount of time. I'm already starting to make plans on where I'm going next and that kind of thing, so that I can start over. I think that's going to be a big part for me, because even to this day, I still have flashbacks of things that happened. I still have flashbacks of what went on, what I went through while I was there, from, the drama with funeral stuff to when he first passed, I can still see all that stuff in my mind. I don't think people really understand, that. And that's not one of the things that I say, because of course I don't want anybody else to feel uncomfortable, but that's why it's so easy to stay booked and busy where it was in the very beginning, because I remember we had a van, and Lord knows I did not want a van. And I remember
I love my van, by the way.
You love
to the family van riders. I'm a family van rider.
If you're a van rider, stand up right now.
I had one. I went and got another one. I love it. I'm vans.
Yeah, you vanned out
all day.
And that's how
got my vans on.
was. Rob was really big on the van. I'm like, you're not gonna have me in no van.
Yeah. Right.
But then, I realized that the van was pretty nice. We had everything in the van. We
fully
went
loaded.
Black Friday shopping, fully loaded with everybody in our car.
Spoiler
That's
kid,
how
no.
it was. But when he passed, for me, every time I drove up in my driveway and I saw that van, it was like, nah, I can't do this anymore.
Right,
and one day I remember just getting in the car. It was raining, and I took that thing to CarMax, and I was like, we gotta be done. I did it all by myself. It was late. It was random. My mom was like, are you sure? But it was just one of those things, in regards to my space, I'm moving up. Every time I come and I see this van, I'm thinking you're home. I want to walk through that door and I want to see you.
That's real.
So I can't be there. I can't do it anymore. And I just remember being in tears, crying hard, rolling down the street, driving down the street to take the van, because I'm driving the van to CarMax. So one of my friends, I called her while I was there, and she ended up coming to pick me up. But I remember just, I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then for my daughter, she used to sit on the steps at my house all the time, and so she would wait on him to come in the house. And so even like that, I had to like rearrange the furniture so she wouldn't immediately think that when she comes down the stairs, Dad's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Like it's things like that, that now after 4 years, it's like, okay, this is like the last bit of it's time to like move on, start something new, and I think it's also because in my booked and busy, now I'm slow and steady. Right. Now I'm slow and steady. I'm at a point now to where I'm settling in.
Yeah.
I'm learning the new me. I know a lot of people ask me like, where have I been? I'm here, I'm around, but I'm protecting my peace in so many ways. I still have a lot of stuff going on.
For sure.
But I guess I've gotten ghost, so to speak. But it's not that. It's just that now I'm like, it's exhausting birthing a new you.
That's what I was gonna say, because
that's a word right there.
Yeah,
that's a word.
and dealing with it, because again, it's trauma. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's something traumatic happens in your life, and then you have to deal with all these different emotions, which are technically these different chemical imbalances, because you're dealing with this for the first time and you're trying to figure out your way through it, and it messes with you in so many different types of ways, and it does weigh on your body. Like I said, you're not eating, you're crying, you're grieving. Like that grieving, people die, from that because of what it just does to their body. The anxiety, you know what I'm saying, the chest pains, 100%. All these different things that's happening to your body. I know the first thing that I did, like, I just started working out. I started hiking up the mountain, because the feelings, the day of my wife's memorial, that morning, my homeboy had to rush me to the hospital. I thought I was having a heart attack, but it was just anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I've never felt this before. Yeah. And and I've never had any type of scare like that. But I'm in the bed. I'm like, on the couch, not in the bed. I'm on the couch. I'm like, man, my arm hurting, and I'm on Google. Signs of a heart attack. Well, then it tells you. And it tells you like to overthink. It tells you like overthink it. Like, don't play. It pretty much tells you to overreact
and go to the hospital.
So I'm like, shh, and I'm like, and my homeboy was there too, because the memorial was later that day, and he was on the other couch. I'm like, yo, bro, then you gotta take me to the hospital. Then I was like, I'm going to the same hospital that she was in. I was anxiety about that, and we was just there, and it was like, it really does something to your body, and people don't understand that, because like you were saying, getting ghosts. Then I had the people start saying that I changed and stuff like that, and trying to make it like I changed for the worse. I'm like, do you know what I've been through and what I'm going through?
Of course,
like,
I'm gonna change.
Yeah, like, what do you expect? I lost my spouse, and then fighting for my daughter, and that situation 6 months later, it's like, do you understand like what I've been through? And then I gotta hold it all in. You know what I'm saying? Because
like you do.
I literally remember going outside my house and like literally just screaming. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man,
just screaming. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it puts so much on your body, and I was just I would try to hit the heavy bag and try to find different ways, but like it changes you. It's trauma. It's trauma. And when you start coming out on the other side of it, you're a different person. You look at life differently. You look at relationships differently, because 100%. You become less tolerant of BS from people. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, like so you don't certain BS, because you don't need anything else that's gonna stress you out. So if you're a stressful person, we're gonna have a talk. But if we can't fix that, then like, look, I'm gonna have to push you to this side, because I got this going on. So you become less tolerant of stuff, and then you become more conscious of just like telling people you love them, and not trying to hold things back. You know what I'm saying? And it don't necessarily mean that it's love lost. It's just you view it in a different way, and you realize how important it is for you to have your sanity, and how important it is for you to be at peace and be able to live life to the fullest, because you never know when things could change. Absolutely. And those that are around you, and I have to catch myself a lot of times. It makes you think something different, like little petty stuff, or when you experience something like that, it'll make you like get up, pick up the phone, and call somebody, like, yo, I love you. It'll make you leave the house, get down the street, and turn around and go back to the house and just say, you know what? I just want to tell you I love you. Before I go.
Right. Yeah.
It'll make you think like that because you don't want to be in that situation again where something happens. And like, you know, some people got to understand that it's like, yeah, we do change. You know what I'm saying? We do change, and you know, it's not all. It may seem like it's for the worst, but you know, you are becoming a different person. You have to become a new life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
With me, you know, being single, I'm like, man, I don't even remember nothing like about being single because I done been used to being married and settled. You know what I'm saying? So again, the stuff that I might have dealt with, you know, being single is like, man, I don't have the tolerance for it. I don't, I don't want to have the headache just if it's for some booty or just to go out. Like I rather not have a headache. You know what I'm saying? Because I done did that. I'm a different person now, and it's like. It changes you, and again, you know, you start to see like, okay, who are my real friends? Who are the people that really have my best interests in mind? Who are the people that really love me? And people got to understand that when we sit in that silence, you know, these are the different things that we think about because we've lost something and we feel alone, and everything is magnified. Everything is all your senses are magnified, and we start picking up on little things. So it's like, you know, in some instances we may require more of somebody who says you love me and you my friend. You know, we may require more, not necessarily mean call me every day, but it's like, okay, you know, we're friends, but you're not my bro. You know what I'm saying? You're not my bro because it's like, you know, I need this. I need to be able to depend on you and this and that. And like, I don't see that from you. So it's like, I got to tell myself that so I won't be stressed out and tripping about the type of relationship we have. We still cool. It's just, I got to know where to categorize the type of relationship I have with you so I can be less stressed because I got too much going on right now.
Yeah, definitely. And when you say it from that standpoint too, you got to think about it like when you say everything is magnified, even from a dramatic thing. Like for me, because of the trauma, every time somebody holds their chest or it look like they falling out or I hear a thump in my house, I'm running. Because immediately I'm thinking something bad has happened. Or I'm thinking that I need to, I'm like, you okay? Like, I know everybody that's around me is like, oh my gosh, will you quit asking me that? But that's like big for me now because I'm always like worried about my folks that I am really close to. So when I'm at home and I hear a thump, like the other day I heard noises in the bathroom and I'm like, Mom, you know, because I'm trying to make sure she good, like, for sure. But that's my mindset now, and it's scary, because you know we got to think that way, and I'm like, Lord, am I gonna be like this the rest of my life?
And it becomes a part of your routine. You know what I mean? Because like that becomes like your new reality because now you've experienced this thing, and especially the way that we all experienced it, when we were kind of around them on the day of, right? So now you're trying to think of, okay, what is this a day that something's gonna happen, or you know what I mean? Like you're trying to be on alert. And on guard for all those things. And so when you're being extra cautious, that's a part of your daily routine. It's not you're stressing out. Like you have anxiety or you have, you know, all these different worries about what's going to happen or what could happen and how to prevent those things from happening. So it can really put you in a really crazy place. And so I think for me, I just had to just learn how to just sit down. You know, like it's still a work in progress for me. But my mom and my friends are sometimes like, man, just chill. Like just sit down. Sometimes it's okay to be home, you know, like you're in a different space and just allow yourself just to wind down from the day instead of trying to go like 100 miles an hour all the time and having things to do. Like you don't have to have something to do. Just being you is the thing to do right now.
And that's hard to accept too because when you're so used to already, I've always been an outgoing person, so I feel guilty that I'm not as booked and busy as I was before, and that's something that I'm trying to work on within myself because, you know, I was so obligated to different things that I just can't do right now. Like, you know, what's going on with me is requiring my whole self to be in a different space, and so I can't be a part of, you know, the stuff that I used to be able to do. I'm tired. And so now I'm trying to, you know, while I'm figuring out the new me and trying to, you know, grow with that and figure out the new part of my daughter,
Right.
which is like a whole
that's
other thing.
thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah, she grows.
yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, I'm glad that you said that. And I know for me, like my anxiety heightened, and so panic attacks, yeah, that was big. In regards to my own personal life. So just the anxiety of always thinking or worrying about other people and trying to learn how to. It's so easier when it's quiet.
Yeah.
When your circle isn't as huge as it was before, or when you still have the people around you, it's a little easier to manage.
Yeah. I think for me, one thing I'm realizing is that now, since like, you know, when everything first happens, you try to be busy, right? You try to be booked, and then you kind of slow down. And as we're like growing this new part of ourselves, like what you said, like birthing yourself is a hard process. But like now I'm busy, and it's just naturally happening that way.
Yeah.
It's not something I'm trying to do now. It's just like now it's just a part of my life. And so I think as you enter this next step or chapter of your life, like it's easy to kind of start forming and being different than what you were before. Right. Because now you're trying to figure out who you are and, you know, where you are and what you are in the world. And so like it's happened for me that a lot of things are just going on at the same time that are keeping me busy and not allowing me to be home. But this time it's like on my own terms, and it's not like I'm doing it just to cover stuff up. You know, I'm doing it because I feel like this is just what's happening. So,
I agree.
So yeah,
I think this is a great time for us to just, you know, I'm glad that you guys were able to sit with us today and kind of hear our stories.
Yeah.
I think the booked and busy for us that we're trying to get out there is, you know, especially for young widows that are out there, or widows in general, you know, you're going to have those times of being silent, wanting to be booked, not wanting to do it, you know, or the times where you just don't want to do anything at all.
For sure.
We do I think we can all collectively ask our family and friends to understand that while we're trying to go through the stages of grief, but also while we're trying to, you know, build up for our future and our new selves. So we really appreciate y'all coming in today. And we'll have more topics. If you had any concerns or you want to talk about anything, send us an email. So this is Young, Black,
and Widowed.
Bye.
See y'all. Peace.
This is just how I wanna live. 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 This is just how I wanna live. Just how I wanna live. Just how I wanna live. Just how I wanna live.
I done beat the odds, you see the scars. Grinding hard, I'd rather eat than starve. I done lost my heart, it's bullshit, she died. I don't look to the sky, I just look inside. Did I swallow my pride? Kiss my daughter.